Morning YouTube, and welcome back to Let Down Your Fear. My name is Aaron. Thank you for joining me for another video. This one being shot crudely with my phone inside of my little Honda Civic on my way to work on a Saturday. Just thinking to myself, once upon a time, the feeling of regret and shame that I used to have Saturday mornings when I would have to go to work because I couldn't go out in field service with my family because my job really would not allow me to be off every Saturday. And I used to make this drive in the morning, and I'd be chatting with some of my friends who were getting ready for service with their families. And I always remember feeling like I just, for some reason, couldn't seem to get a job that would allow me to do what they did. I just didn't want to work in construction or banking. So, yeah. Anyway, so this video this morning is not going to be a long one. I wanted to hop on and share some thoughts that I had on a recent leak that came out of the Watchtower. And this was a video of the Public Information Department and them, I guess, doing what I would have called in the business world a QBR, a business review, or an annual business review of their successes for the year. Now, I have not been out of the organization for an awfully long time, just a few months now. I knew while I was inside the organization that this arm of the Watchtower existed, but I had no idea just what type of machine it was, and kind of what it felt like and what its goals and aims were. So this is really eye-opening for me. Many of you who have been out of the Watchtower for a long time, who have come to see it for what it is, just a business and wrapped in the cloak of religion, probably are not shocked by this, right? You guys, this is par for the course for you. But for me, somebody who's out just recently, it's very disturbing, and I wanted to hop on and share a few thoughts that I had with you about what I watched. Now, I'll tell you that my wife watched this, and now that we're both awake, whenever I share information with her or a video or something to read that's old that she's never viewed before, it's so funny. We have these moments where I can be literally across the room and she'll read something or be in a part of a video, and we both just look up and look at each other and shake our heads like, how did we miss this? How did we not pay attention to this? And this video about the Public Information Department was no different. So, initial thoughts first. The way that these folks sound in their speech patterns and their conversation style is very, very different from anything that I have seen on the broadcast. I thought it was really interesting. One of the main speakers towards the beginning of the video made a comment, I think to the effect of him being in broadcasting or multimedia or something like that for 20 years. Well, obviously, this Public Information Department has not, I don't think, been around for 20 years. So this gentleman obviously had some sort of secular, broadcasting training. One of the things that always used to disturb me, even before I woke up at all, was just how similar everyone sounds at the convention. Have you guys ever noticed that? When you're at the convention, you're listening to brothers give parts. I know that they're not writing any of their own material, so from like a sentence structure standpoint, we shouldn't expect much variation. But even the way they speak, they all sound exactly the same. Now, I don't know if there's something to the bite model regarding that or human psychology, but I always found it very disturbing that they would get up there and assume someone else's speech patterns. It didn't even sound like the person that I knew when they spoke. They all got up and assumed this same identity of this same person who spoke this exact same way, and it was very, very odd to me, and I didn't like it at all. It did not feel natural. It did not feel normal. It did not feel genuine at all. But to contrast that with the brothers who were leaked in this video of the Public Information Department, they sound, in my opinion, like news anchors. They sound like people who have worked in broadcasting in media who have been in front of cameras before, the way that they speak, the way that they were conversing with each other, it was just had a very, very different feel. And one of the things that was very interesting to me was, I think, again, towards the beginning, one of them said something about where a lot of you are wondering where PID is going, and some of you are concerned. Now, I don't want to assume what that means, but I can only hope that what this means is that there are some people inside of the Public Information Department who have concerns about what the end game and end goal is for a public relations department for a multi-billion-dollar religion. I hope if those people see this video that they do not abandon the part of their conscience that tells them something is just not right about this, because something is not right about this, guys. I mean, if you're an elder inside of this religion or a ministerial servant, you have a family, I mean, how are you not asking yourself right now, why does my religion need a public relations department? Why does my religion need a public relations department? And how are we not considering this getting in bed with the world? I mean, as witnesses, I always used to say, one of the things I was proud of was that my faith mimicked first century Christianity. Well, first century Christianity was not a socially popular subject at all. It was a sect. It was heretical. In the second century, you were very likely to die for being one. Christians historically have not been overly concerned with what the world thought of them at all. As a matter of fact, if you go back and you look at first century Christianity, one of the signs that somebody had converted to becoming a Christian is they stopped participating in a lot of social things, like the games in Rome. People would say, "Where's so-and-so?" And they would go, "Oh, he doesn't come to the games anymore. Well, he must be a Christian," right? So we were in context not getting involved with the world. Well, what we're doing as the Watchtower? Not we, but what the Watchtower is doing if not getting in bed with the secular world? I mean, that's a hop, skip, and a jump, in my opinion, from them hopping in bed with politicians if they're not already. I mean, in my opinion, the world of politics and the media are woven together from the same material. They're part of the same cloth, the same blanket. I mean, every time I watch any major media, it always seems like there's some former politician or some head of state or secretary who used to have public office and now he's a paid contributor. So in my mind, in my worldview, politics and the media are attached at the hip. And so for me, it's very, I think, telling, and hopefully is very awakening to those of you who have seen this video to think, why is my religion getting involved in public relations, getting involved with the secular world? And I can't help but to think that there has to be some political, stuff going on behind the scenes. These two things, again, are just so linked in my mind. I can't imagine it, there not being some political, handshakes going on and phone calls going on behind the scenes. I hope I'm wrong, but anyway. So yeah, the idea of first century Christianity and Christians being concerned about what the public thinks, that runs directly in the face of the historical context of what it means to be a Christian. Christians have never been concerned about what the world thinks of them. As a matter of fact, for the majority of Christian history, Christians have known that as soon as they took on the mantle of Christian, that they are going to be in enmity with the world. I mean, even Christ predicted that. So why are we out trying to spruce up our reputation? I mean, think about that. Why does a business do that? If you are a business, and let's be frank, most businesses have a public relations department, because either one, the type of business that they're in is likely to be very polarizing, and they need to, in order to keep the revenue flowing, soften the brand, soften the business, soften what it is that they do, so it's more socially acceptable. Or B, because they've had issues with their public relations and their persona in the past, and they need to make amends and get control of the narrative. Well, either way, why is my former religion, why does it have a public relations department? Can you imagine Christ Jesus going out and saying, I'm going to go into this city to preach. I'm going to go into Jerusalem to preach, but I'm going to send some of the apostles ahead to give gifts and butter people up and say really nice things about me before I get there. What is going on, guys? I mean, wake up. What is going on here? Something is not right. Something is not right. So those were the thoughts that I had. Speech patterns, very different. Just asking myself from a genuine, historical standpoint, why does my former religion need a public relations department? And guys, if you get a chance, sit down and watch the video. It's not terribly long, but it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me to listen to these group of brothers really very, very rarely mention anything about Jehovah or God. Very rarely in this broadcast that was leaked talk about the Bible, but they're talking about pitching. They're talking about writing puff pieces and articles, getting control of the narrative, being prepared to present a narrative if there's a disaster. I mean, they're bragging about, the relationships that they have with local media. They've got charts about, I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but the equivalent to click-through rates and how much information they were able to share with people via local media. I mean, guys, again, if you're an elder or a ministerial servant in this faith, what is going on? Is there any part of you, when you watch these brothers talk about how they have contacts with reporters and how they have templates for articles that present the religion in a good light, and all the reporters have to do is cut and paste certain pieces out of the article to localize it, and then find some brothers and sisters nearby and take pictures of them? I mean, if we are God's one true religion, backed by the creator of the universe, do we really need a public relations department to help us get our work accomplished? If the God of the universe draws people into his organization, are we to imagine in our minds that public relations is going to do a better job of drawing people to God than he himself can do? Is the power of God, his ability to draw people to his one true organization, not enough? Is it so weak that he needs us feeble human beings to create a public relations department, just to give him a little bit of help where he needs it? If we are relying upon anything other than God's Spirit to draw people into a faith, we're selling something, guys. We're selling something. Just think about that for a minute. Just honestly step back and think about that for a minute. It blows my mind. It truly, truly does. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to upload this in a few minutes. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. A very happy new year. 2022 honestly kind of sucked for me and my family in some ways. We lost a lot of stuff, but we've also gained so much. I have a very, very busy 2023 planned. A lot of things that I want to accomplish with my life. A lot of things that I put on the back burner that I no longer have to do. And so I'm very excited about putting those front and center in my life and getting them accomplished. So I hope you have goals like that as well for 2023. If you're a former witness, you've come out of the organization recently, what is it you always wanted to do that you didn't have time to do? what are the goals that you have now that you want to get accomplished in 2023? I'd be interested in you sharing them. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, a happy new year. God bless you all, and have a great day.